Hello, I'm Dr. Priti Parikh. I'm an associate professor at University College London, where I head the Engineering for International Development Centre. Our centre researches infrastructure solutions in resource challenge settings, so providing infrastructure to people who do not have access to basic services. Every day in my job is different. There are days when I'm evidencing links between infrastructure and the Sustainable Development Goals to showcase to policymakers how important infrastructure is. Other days, I'm organizing workshops with charities and policymakers to discuss further investment in infrastructure. There are days when I'm teaching, days when I'm lucky enough to have time to work on an academic paper. But the big project that's keeping me busy at the moment is I'm setting up a new undergraduate program, an integrated 4-year MEng in construction engineering management for future leaders in engineering and construction who can design and deliver projects and programs. So I work with people who live in slums, villages without access to infrastructure. Now, it's all well and good going to these communities and talking about climate change, but if they do not have access to basic services like electricity, water, sanitation, how are they going to engage in the debate? So my big aspiration is to provide infrastructure to every person on this planet, which is affordable, which is inclusive, which is appropriate, to inform the climate change agenda. Also, we have a big task in front of us with billions not having access to infrastructure. So the big question for me is how can we provide infrastructure to those communities, but do it in a way which is climate resilient? Well, everyone thinks that civil engineers and hence the profession is boring. It is not boring at all. And we are not boring individuals. To give you an example, in my spare time, I do stand-up comedy on climate change, on infrastructure. So I think there seems to be also another myth that engineers are very siloed and they cannot engage and work with other disciplines. This is not true. In my day-to-day life, I work with psychologists, social scientists, geographers, planners, architects. So we can be very interdisciplinary and very creative. My father is a civil engineer, a very creative and talented civil engineer. Years ago, he went from designing very complex shell structures for large span buildings to designing infrastructure for people living in slums with very basic amenities. And this really got me excited about the breadth and width of what engineering could offer. And here I am, 25 years later, in the same profession.